Hello and welcome to We Got Issues, the only comic book podcast that is dedicated to tracking down every single issue of Marvel's 2099 line. And if you don't remember that, well, you're missing out. Hi, I'm Brian Compton, aka BComp, and joining me as always is the Shang-Chi to my Gambit, Josh Markwood. How you doing, buddy?
Good, and yes, that's very apropos for this week because we're going to talk about it. But that trailer for Doomsday finally dropped, and of course, it's already been like controversial. It's kind of
Oh
funny
yeah.
how there's
Oh yeah.
like, goodness gracious. But yeah, no, thank you. Yes, thank you for the intro. And when we talk about Marvel's 2099 line, we're not talking about just the like that 90s one, but all the like the current stuff too that
Oh,
they're
I'm not.
trying to
I
do.
actually am not talking about that.
No. When we say,
You-
"Oh, every issue," that means every issue.
Yeah, that's true. Did you read, it's like Wolverine is like Star-Lord in 2099? I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
Okay."
I
Or
actually
not
read
Star-Lord,
that.
no, or Nova rather. Was he
Nova.
Nova?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that's
Nova.
right.
Yeah, no, I read that
Which which I
because
was like, either Josh is gonna love that or he's gonna
I didn't
hate
like it.
that.
I
Yeah.
didn't like
Y
it. Does Wolverine have to be everything?
Yes, of course. I mean,
No,
he's also
not of
Cosmic
course.
Ghost Rider too, and no.
Apparently, yeah, goodness gracious. Wolverine just I mean, I understand the popularity, but
No.
it's him and
It's
Deadpool and Harley Quinn.
yeah,
It's
it's overload.
oversaturation.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. No, I've been definitely dollar bin anytime I've had 2099 issue, I just pick it up. I've almost got the entire run of
Hmm.
Ravage 2099, X-Men 2099. Doom, believe it or not, is actually very hard to find, and as is the Ghost Rider run.
Hmm.
But most of the other stuff you can find. And same with the Spider-Man 2099. Some of that stuff is actually hard to find.
I'll
But
I'll give I'll give anybody a quarter that can honestly explain what Ravage 2099 is like in and explain to me where I can understand it because that's
he
saying
was
after I've read it. No, I've read
okay.
it. I
Okay.
understand. I've read everything. I still don't understand it. Like again,
You know,
I've read it all. I don't
which is
understand
funny.
it.
He was one of Stan Lee's last creations for Marvel, like genuine original creations, and he was the only character when they launched that 2099 line that was an original character. Like they were all either a take
Mm,
on the X-Men or
that's
the
right.
Punisher or the Spider-Man or Ghost Rider or whatever, or the Fantastic Four, Doom, whatever. Like he was the only original. Like there is no Ravage, although I think they're actually bringing a character named Ravage into Spider-Man. I think now I don't think it's any relation to him because why would you? But yeah, he was like it became like an eco terrorist after his, evil corporate boss threw him into a dump. And,
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
yeah.
a I'm a
And then he becomes a beast man of
2099.
some sort.
Yeah, I'm a futuristic hobo killing machine. Like,
It is what it
okay,
is, man.
uh, it's like
It
him and
wasn't one of
Silo. It's
as
him
I
and
say, it wasn't
Silo.
one of Stanley's best hits. I'll put it that way.
No, that's saying a lot for Stan Lee
He
because this
he
stuff
he
off
might have
of
missed the mark.
Marvel,
Well,
stuff
they
out of
said it's
Marvel is
funny.
pretty crazy.
I haven't read it since like it came out, but as I say, if you read it now, it's like it feels very much like a '90s book with like a Silver Age mentality, because that's like what
Mhm.
Stanley was best for. And it's like it weirdly works and it doesn't at the same time. Like if you kind of like look at it through that lens, but I digress. Let's talk about the book we
Let's make him a hobo, and then he's also a merchant of violence. And then you have Rob
I
Liefeld. Don't
invented
forget the pouches.
Spider-Man.
I
I
invented
invented
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Let's talk about the actual book we're supposed to be doing this week. What are we doing this week, Josh?
In this episode, we're actually heading back to Gotham City again.
Again?
Because look, if DC keeps making 45 billion different Batman books, we're going to keep doing it. But
Mhm.
actually, this is not a Batman book where we're going to like
Mhm.
our Gotham Central episode. There's no Batman here, only in
What?
flashbacks. I know. We're breaking down DC Black Label's book, Catwoman: Lonely City.
Well, before we can do that, we do need to talk about upgrading your snack game. And best way to do that is with Duff and Shaw snacks. Now, whether it's their limited edition gummy army guys or their 2 foot long gummy anaconda, Duff and Shaw snacks and candy are curated from the most mysterious and undiscovered places on planet Earth. Head on over to duffandshaw.com/issues today and check out all they've got and more. Again, that's duffandshaw.com/issues for the most legendary snacks in the world. Boom!
Yeah, and they also are doing coffee now, I think, too.
They are
So
doing coffee, so we
yeah,
can make that okay. All right.
a caffeine
Just
rush and a sugar rush all in the
I
same
was gonna say
evening.
I am pounding well, it's actually an Americano right now because, yeah, I
Ooh,
knew we were gonna be up late tonight, so I had to
Mr.
get
Fancy
that going.
Man with an
Well, my wife
Americano.
got my wife got me an espresso machine, and, like, I don't drink
Oh, Mr.
espressos, but
Fancy Man, I got an
I'll pour
espresso
it over
machine.
some. Oh, well, I'm the guy who does, like, the hand grind coffee and,
Oh,
I got
goodness.
all that. No, okay, real quick, I know we already digressed, but I got one of those as a troll against one of my editors at Nerdist. His name was Matt Kieran, who's a big coffee guy, and so I got, like,
Hmm,
this gift card, and I bought the entire setup, like, the hand grinder and the gold-plated filter and the big carafe and all that stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna troll the hell out of him with, the nice little pour over thing," and then I was like, "Yeah, I got all this stuff, and look, I'm using Dunkin' Donuts beans," and he was just I was gonna because, like, he was a coffee snob, he's the guy who
mhm.
he literally had that, that $50 cup of coffee made from cat turds, like, he had
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
He was
Ooh,
like that
man.
guy, and so I was like, I knew it'd piss him off to have this great setup and then just use, like, crappy ass Dunkin' Donuts beans. The sad part was it actually was good, and now I'm forced to actually drink coffee that way because it actually is better, but
It's also very weird troll to up your own coffee game to make fun of somebody else.
oh,
That's a
because I knew it'd
weird
piss him.
troll. That's a weird
Well, because
missing
it was a
somebody.
gift card. I had, like, a $75 gift card to, like, Coffee Bean or something. Well, I'm just gonna use it on the gift store and bought all this stuff there, and then, I
Take
went
that,
for it.
man.
I
Take
went
that.
for it.
I got
Yeah,
good cups of coffee. You take
yeah.
that.
Well, because like, I've never been a coffee nut, but, whatever. Anyway.
I got
Uh,
converted. Take that.
I did, yeah. You
When
win this
everybody
round, Matt
talks
Karen.
about like, when everybody talks about like grinding coffee, it reminds me. Did you ever see Black Hawk Down
Yes,
with
long time
Ewan
ago.
McGregor? Like
Yes, and
Ewan
every
McGregor.
other actor on the planet,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, but like Ewan McGregor on that the whole time. Like I'm only here because I make coffee, not too ground, not too coarse. He kept saying that every time, and I just remember that from it. And then he became Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
Um,
well, he was Obi-Wan before that, wasn't he? Or yeah,
I
he was
don't know.
Obi-Wan
I don't
before.
know.
Anyway,
Okay, sure.
whatever. Okay, let's get into today's book. We've digressed enough. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
So, I mean, Catwoman Lonely City, just to talk more about just like there's been a lot of Catwoman series and minis over the years, like whether it's like Jim Balant's run or Catwoman's suit allowed some of her uh assets to
Yeah,
defying gravity and physics.
I'm serious. I showed my wife a cover. You haven't had a chance, just Google Jim Ballant, like, Catwoman, and you will see it's like, yeah, boobs don't hang like that. Like, they
I'll do
don't
that
do
on my
that.
own time. I'll do
Yeah,
that on my own time.
well, my wife looks at she's like, "Yeah, boobs don't do that, honey. Sorry to let you down." I'm like, "Ah, I get it." That's
Yeah,
comics.
or yeah, then you show her some Michael Turner stuff. And then
That's a
a
whole other
whole
bag of
other thing.
worms.
Or with the Gen 13 stuff from
Oh,
can't
J.
remember
Scott
the
Campbell?
artist.
J.
Yeah,
Scott
yeah,
Campbell, wasn't it?
James Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
J.
well,
Scott Campbell. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. Well, so it's there's that stuff, and then there's also there's just an amazing book from Ed Brubaker and Darwin Cook.
Mhm.
The Catwoman
Ken
comics
Stewart.
are
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they're usually just like healthy mix of like heist, adventure, romance, noir, and of course everything's in Gotham City.
Of course.
With everything that belongs in Gotham City. Now, like when we were kind of chatting over what books we should be covering, you were like really insistent on this book
Yeah.
actually a couple times. So we kind of like
Yes.
went over it
Pushed
a
it and
little
pushed
bit.
it,
Yeah, we
pushed it.
kind of
Yeah,
pushed
yeah.
it, but like I think you have deserved the blurb on the back reading this time.
All right, ad copy and blurb on the back. Before I
Mhm.
do that, though, I do want to shout out our socials. Take a moment to do that. If you've been on the fence about a book or looking for a deep dive treatment on a book that you want us to cover, feel free to hit us up. I'm at the BComp on Blue Sky and Twitter, but I will most likely respond to you on Blue Sky. Kind of like what one of the users, Dave Rabbit, reached out to us after we did our Supergirl episode last time and
Mhm.
had some really good commentary from him and some good insight. I really enjoyed that. But you can
And
also reach out to us where else, Josh?
oh yeah, we got issues cast and we got issues on Blue Sky and Instagram. That's
Oh,
shoot us like some suggestions there.
yeah, or just
And
have comments about the episode. Like I said, Dave
yeah,
Rabbit.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Up our followers. We need that. We
Oh,
need
we love
some
it.
yeah. So but we love the back and forth and just actually knowing that people actually listen to this is actually pretty
Yeah,
awesome. And I said
it's
actually
always
four
fun.
times in that sentence, so that's great.
You can edit
Um
that out.
no, I'm not going to. No,
I know
I'm
because that's
sticking
work,
to it.
but fair
I'm
enough.
actually sticking to it.
Fair enough.
Um
Stick it to it.
yeah,
I
right,
was
yeah.
gonna try to
So
see if we can say stick it to it for like 4 more times. Anyway, let's do the blurb on the back.
yeah.
10 years ago, the massacre known as Fool's Night claimed the lives of Batman, the Joker, Nightwing, and Commissioner Gordon, and sent Selina Kyle, the Catwoman, to prison. A decade later, Gotham has grown up. It's put away its costume heroism and villainy as childish things. The new Gotham is cleaner, safer, and a lot less free under the watchful eye of Mayor Harvey Dent and his Bat Cops. It's into this new city that Selena Kyle returns a changed woman with her mind on the one last big score, the secrets hidden inside the Batcave. She doesn't need the money. She just needs to know who is Orpheus. Boom.
Bum, bum, bum. Great read.
Thanks.
Released between October 2021 and October 2022. This is a four-issue miniseries, and it was released on DC's adult imprint, Black Label.
Man, do
Um,
you know about Black Label? You know about Black Label? Besides the
I
drink.
know a little
Oh,
bit, yeah, a little bit about Black Label. This is like we said, it's the adult type of
yeah.
of
If
stories and stuff.
Yeah, if you don't know Black Label, do yourself a favor and, well, I maybe don't it's up to you. I mean, who knows which way you swing, it doesn't matter. I mean, we well, ironically enough, we know which way Batman swings because of this book. There's a book called Batman Damned. It was the first book that came out with Black Label, and we get full frontal bat penis. If I recall, he swings to the right. I think it's the right. But anyway, um, the first issue that came out on the Black Label line, well, like I said, was this,
Now,
was the
time out.
show off. Yo,
Just sorry. I'm sorry. Just a timeout.
sure.
All that sentence right there, that was not a joke. That was like literally that there was a panel where we saw a
2
full frontal
2
of
panels.
Batman. Two panels
2 panels.
of Batman full frontal. I'm
Yeah,
just
full
want to make
frontal.
sure people are understanding that it's not a joke. That is an actual something that happened. You can Google it and look it up,
Yep.
but just make sure you are
Yeah,
not at
not
work.
safe for work or,
Yeah.
it's
I'm sorry.
NSFW, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Continue.
yeah. Oh, sorry, no problem. No, literally though, like the whole point was like to show, hey, this is an adult book. Not only was it, like I said, full frontal, you have profanity. It was released in Prestige Plus format, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically the European size of doing comics, which is 8.5 by 11 inches, as opposed to like, Americans, which is traditional size, which is more like 6.6 by 10.25. So it's a little bit larger. It looks basically like a magazine. Um, yeah, and essentially, this was after Vertigo kinda got shuttered, and if you don't know what Vertigo was like DC's line of, like, things like Swamp Thing and Sandman and Preacher, books of that ilk, and so, like, DC's like, "We're gonna bring back our line, and we're gonna rejigger it," and they do a whole thing with it. It's gonna be DC, adult books, and basically I think it was Tom King who said this best. He's like, the books fall into one of three categories. Either they're completely outside the DC universe, so a la your, and then maybe it was James Tinney who said it, but it's like your, the nice house by the sea, or the nice house by the lake, or you know what I mean, or
Uh-huh.
some of the more not involved in superhero stuff. Then there was two other sort of lines, which was like takes place in the far future. A book like The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller would kind of fall into that, where it's like it's set in the future, so it's not in continuity with the superhero universe, but it's like based on the superhero characters. And then finally, there was like a third kind of tier, which was more like it could be continuity or it could not be. It's up to the writers if they want to accept it, or if the fans like it. Books like The Three Jokers, or the Long Halloween, or The Killing Joke. So basically, this is DC's attempt to like, here we can do adult storytelling that aren't tied to continuity, but if fans receive it well, we can do that. Um, and again, as I said earlier, it's like most of these books were done in this like magazine-sized format, but not all of them. Some were like only, in a normal comics size. Do you read any Black Label books, or are you a fan of any of the Black Label books, Josh?
I was a fan. I did catch up on some of them. Some of them were, I was a fan of. Like, I know a lot of people are like back and forth on this, but I did like the Strange Adventures, the
Oh,
Adam Strange book
but yeah,
with Tom
yeah,
King,
Tom King. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Mitch Garris,
I
I think.
think I thought I like the Suicide Squad get Joker.
Okay.
Uh,
That was Azzarello, I think.
Yes, that was Azrael and Alex
Yeah.
Maleev, which was great,
Yep.
and, um, I did like the Human Target one, which
Oh, the
was a
Human
good
Target
one.
one's great
Yeah, it
by
was a
Tom
really good
King.
one. Yeah,
Again,
and, again, I think a lot of the Black Label stuff was, like, Tom King did a lot of,
yeah,
he did Danger Street, he did, um,
he
Jenny
did the
Sparks,
Jay Sparks. I believe
uh,
Rorschach was one of them. I believe he
Rorschach,
also
which I wasn't a big fan of,
I was
but,
fine with it. It was unnecessary, but I was fine with it.
yeah,
Yeah, Strange
even
Adventures, Mr. Miracle, I think was a Black Label book.
yeah, well, I mean, Mark Waid did a Black Label with, The Last
Oh,
Days
yeah,
of Lex Luthor
Last
with
Days of
Brian
Luther.
Hitch.
Yep, the
There was
longest delayed
also
book ever.
yeah, there's also and then Paul Dano did one with the Riddler Year One.
That's right.
Um, but
Yeah,
like,
and
and then you have like huge misses though too with uh
Mhm.
Superman Year One and
Yeah, by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.
yeah,
Yeah,
JR.
yeah, they've gone back and like I said, for a while, like they've gone back and like I said, they've kind of not retconned their own publishing line, but like any kind of DC book that like I said, it's adultish that kind of falls into that vein. They label as Black Label now. Although they have brought Vertigo back, and Vertigo's kind of going back to its not I would say its roots, but it's like going back towards like standalone stories that are separate from continuity or not continuity, but from the DC universe. So it's like I think there's like Bleeding Hearts by I think Dennis Camp. There's a couple other ones like there's like a mystery book by Condon, and there's a third one. So yeah, they're spinning up Vertigo all up again, which I'm really excited about. But keeping Black Label specifically for just like DC either future or possible continuity books, if that makes any
Mm-hmm.
sense.
And then
Um,
you have books too,
Good.
like Aquaman Andromeda. Yeah,
Yeah,
did really well
yeah, or Wonder Woman,
as well.
the history book of Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
The
and
Wonder
like you
Woman
said
book.
too, like then oh sorry, keep going.
I was gonna say the Wonder Woman Dead Earth one by was his name Warren Johnson? I think it's Daniel Warren Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That one. Did you ever read Dead Earth? Oh,
Is
oh
that a good one?
man. Yeah, we'll talk about that offline, but that might be a book that is gonna be put on the radar real quick here because that book
Mm.
is phenomenal. You were saying I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was actually interrupting you for the first time. So yeah.
Nah.
um, but also, I mean, you have just kind of like you were saying the Nice House on the Lake, which was not really any DC superhero
No.
anything to do, and then you have like crazy ones like Waller versus Wildstorm or
Wildstorm, that's which is
or
that's
the
nice.
Nice House by the yeah.
Nice Spots by the
Uh,
Sea is what, the sequel
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
Nice by the Sea, yeah, and then excuse me, and then just yeah, like Fables
Yeah,
when it came back, that was on the Black Label.
it
So,
was. It's funny
yeah,
because the size of the book alternates, because like I said, there's that European magazine style, and
right.
then there's the which is the more traditional comic size, and depending on how long the book is, it kinda usually determines whether or not it gets the big prestige format or sorry, prestige plus, or if
Hmm.
it gets just like traditional comic size. So actually I have to ask you
Prestige
some this
Worldwide.
next what's up?
I
Prestige
was just saying
Worldwide,
Prestige Worldwide, yeah.
fair enough. Did you I assume you read this digitally, but did you read this digitally?
Yeah.
First question.
Yeah, I read this digitally, because honestly, didn't really know much about it until you had mentioned, something we should, be reading.
So I have to ask because I read still in the physical form, and I have both this in trade and in singles, and it is in that magazine format. Which we'll talk a little bit about the sort of like how that impacted the book in just a bit. But did you notice a difference when you're reading it digitally, or did it kind of format?
Not
Did
at all.
not at all? Okay,
Not at
curious.
all. It honestly, I didn't know it was in the Prestige format until
Yeah, I've
I think, I did when, I was one of the suckers who got, Superman Year One, physical
mm,
and the
mhm,
single
mhm,
issues, and
mhm,
you could tell.
mhm,
I think what made me more angry is that you couldn't bag and board it,
mhm,
well
mhm.
enough. So that
Well, you
was
can. You just have to get the magazine boards. I have all of
yeah,
my
see, I
I have all
didn't have my yeah.
I see. My bad.
I didn't get the magazine boards, so I was just
Well,
mad that
if
I
you need
didn't have
any, let
those.
me know. I'll pick you some up.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe not for that book, but
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
yeah, it's funny. We'll talk about a little bit about the writer and the artist, or writer artist rather, Cliff Chang in just a second. But he did mention he's like, yeah, putting it in that prestige flood definitely forced him to have to rewire his brain. He's like, because he even said, he's like, I've been doing comics for years now. And you get to a certain point where you're just like, okay, you got the, like 6.6 by 6 by, 6.6 by 10. You know
Uh,
exactly how to format everything. He's like, having that extra space moved over. It was like, oh, now you need, you can do 12 panels as opposed to 9 panels. And he was
uh-huh.
like, I didn't want to just make the panel bigger, but I wanted to use that space to kind of really help with the creation of the book. And so he's like, it forced me to have to rework my entire brain when making this book. But we'll talk about that in just a few moments.
But
Yeah, that's
before
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, well, I mean, just before we get into, like, the history of Catwoman, before we get deep into this book too, I just want because what, like, drove you to read this book? Was it because it was in the Prestige Plus and Black Label, or, like, what kinda drew your eye to it?
Oh, do you mean in general? I mean,
Just
or
in
just like
general. Like, what made
honestly,
you, like, pick it up?
I'll be honest with you, all the Black Label prestige books I pick up, I like the idea of that magazine format because it gives it that a
Mhm,
sort of adult feel. And so I know, like, and this isn't any offense to, like, comic books. I love comic books. I love superhero comics, but I'm an older guy now, and like I like to read something with a little bit more meat than just people punching each other sometimes. And so I know usually picking up a Black Label prestige book, there's going to be more to it. It's not, and I'm not saying like I need every superhero to have profanity or nudity or like that, but it's nice when I'm reading a book like this and there is profanity in it. It's like, okay, this is adult. This is, not meant for kids. And so it's a targeted audience toward me. That and the fact that I actually really like this artist and the fact that this is the first time him writing, I was curious to see how that would play
mhm.
out. Plus, I also like, Catwoman. I think she's a fun character. And I was curious to see what this was going to be and how this would all play out. But to answer your question, long story short, I like the format so much that it kind of that's why I have Superman Year One, despite the reviews of it not being good. It's like I want to
Uh-huh,
still read it. I like this look. It just feels it goes back to the I think I've talked about this before. My father used to read the Savage Sword of Conan, which was Marvel's black and white magazine sword and sorcery book, Conan book, and it was something like he wouldn't let me read those. So it was like maybe it's just like that thing of like, oh man, like that's
mhm,
the adult book that I couldn't read when I was a kid. Now I can
uh.
read it. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Armchair psychology. Who knows?
So, we've talked enough about it. Let's talk about the woman of the hour. Was before we get too big into the book, we're gonna talk about the brief history of Miss, Selina Kyle, the
Mhm.
Catwoman. Brian, when was, like, her first appearance, though? It wasn't like the Frank, Miller stuff. It was way, way before that, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
but,
I
like,
mean,
when
yeah.
exactly was that?
So we got to go back, got to roll that clock back to 1940 in the first issue, Batman number one. Not his first appearance, that was Detective Comics number 27, but in Batman number one, 1940, she made her first appearance, Selina Kyle's Catwoman. She was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, and we've talked ad nauseum about how awesome Bill Finger is. And despite the fact that he died a pauper, she was a
Mhm,
burglar and a thief, but she leaned more into the sort of like femme fatale angle than the cat burglar aspect, and it's only because they were like, "Oh, well, the cats are natural predators of bats," and that's kind of why they, like, leaned into that. She wore more of, like, a flowing dress and was, like, more of a romantic interest for Batman, and their creators were kind of hoping that she would appeal more to a female audience. While her backstory and character would change and be retconned over the next few decades, her modern interpretation finally took hold in the '80s with her appearance in Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One, where we would see her working as dominatrix because Frank Miller, you know?
and shameless plug here for if you want more on that, we did do a whole episode about Batman Year One, episode nine, number 9, and check that out because it's a great episode and it's a great book.
That was a good book. It really is such a good book. Um, Well, this would further be explored and, slightly retconned. We'd eventually get a more modernized version of Catwoman when she got her ongoing series that kicked off in the '90s. We kind of briefly mentioned him. Jim Ballant was the artist on that, and while there'd be, like, tons of writers that came through, like Joe Duffy and Chuck Dixon, it was predominantly this whole '90s run was predominantly done by Jim Ballard, and honestly, it's a fun book. It's super heroics, and she's wearing that classic, purple costume that's like a full body costume with, like, the black thigh-high high boots, and she's got the whip, and she's kicking butt that way. It was about heists, and, she finds herself kind of, like, in that moral ambiguity of from there, slightly turning into a hero. But by about 2001, the book was relaunched with Ed Brubaker and Darwin Cook, where they leaned more into the sort of cat burglar aspect, both in terms of story and in terms of her costume. You've seen that costume, right, Josh?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
Yeah,
a typical one.
it's the one I kind of I. It's funny. I associate her with both costumes, both the purple one because that's kind of when I got into comics, but the black costume that's like I said is that sort of like you said, cat burglar scene with the goggles and all of that. Like that's
But
the one like
all
that I love the most. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, but also, like, didn't the black, costume kinda was that kinda based from the, Dark Kni or excuse me, Batman, the movie? Um,
Kinda,
yeah,
kinda.
Batman Returns. Why I don't know why I
Yeah, I know,
blanked on the
but
name, but, yeah, Tim
yeah, no, it's
Burton.
all good. I know what you're talking about. It was just like that was with all the stitching and the white,
Yeah,
there's all that. It seemed that would seem more piecemeal. This one seemed like a legit like stealth suit that you would use to, with the like suction cups climbing up
yeah.
a wall and all that, with goggles that came down. I think they kind of emulated a little bit in the third Dark Knight in the Dark Knight trilogy with what's her name? Anne Hathaway. Um, a couple years later, and just kind of move this along a little bit, but like in terms of Catwoman's mythology would kind of continue through another upheaval when finally, to fans' surprise, cats and bats give in to their desires and hook up in that
Oh,
infamous Hush storyline.
mhm,
Hmm.
which we covered that also.
Oh,
I mean,
did
I
we?
know, right? Did we? Did
Yes, when
we? Yes, we did.
Derek Johnson joined us for that one, episode
Yeah.
26.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not that far ago, so please check that one out
No.
too.
Yeah, please do. From there, her life would be a series of up and downs. She'd become a mother, and then she'd go back and forth between being a criminal and a hero, and then she'd have her life reset with New 52, and then reset again with DC Rebirth. This eventually all leads to Bruce eventually proposing to her in the New Rebirth line with when Tom King was writing the book. It was the famous Cats and Bats or Bat and Cat um, kind of storyline that went on for like 75 issues. And eventually he proposes to her. She says yes. And then she's like, peace out at the offer. She literally is like, nah, I'm not going to marry you because if I marry you, you can't be Batman. You're going to lose your drive. And so, did you read any of that stuff? The Tom
I
King?
did. I was yeah, I was fully caught up on the Tom King stuff, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it
Oh,
was not my favorite. I didn't like the cat bat back and forth thing.
mhm.
It was just kind of it was like the pet name,
Mhm.
like, but constantly used.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, I'm like, you don't need to say it every time. Like, when it's the
Yeah.
only other person on the other line, you don't have to say,
We know. Yeah.
and then the reason to leave or just I mean, they had some fun issues in between, like the
Yeah.
double date with
Double
Superman and
Date's
Lois,
great. Yeah. That's a great one.
but
I like the,
the way
the
it
other one I really,
ended,
oh, good. Sorry. Yeah. The
no,
way it
I
ended.
just it was like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, man.
Well, and I think that I mean, this isn't we're not even supposed to be talking about Tom King, but, I think the problem with that run is that it was too long. If it had been done as a
Uh,
miniseries a la, like, Mister Miracle or Strange Adventures or any of his, like, 12-issue runs, I think it would have been a much tighter, better story, but I think when it's stretched out over 75 issues and I heard there were some issues with editorial, like, kinda stepping in and changing things on him, you know it just it definitely ran its course. I agree with you, there's some phenomenal issues in there, like you said, the double date's really good. The one where, Bruce is on jury duty, like, I thought that was a really good issue,
yeah.
but overall, I don't look back with fondness as much as I had hoped with, that book.
N no, no, and I mean, specifically the Catwoman Batman stuff, and the
Yeah.
with the War of Laughs and Riddles, that was pretty good,
Yeah.
and
I
but,
I had a I had a chance to meet him at Comic-Con. We were doing a panel for, he came on one of our panels for Nerdist, And I actually did. I told him, I was like, I told him, I was like, I really did enjoy the Double Date issue. And he seemed genuinely like, thank you, like
Hmm,
genuine about it. Like, that's so nice to hear that. I was like, I'm like, because like I think I told him, like, the line that, Soups and Bats both use when talking about each other, which is like, don't you realize when kids look up to Batman, they want to be him? And then Bat says to Lois, like, don't you realize when, when they look up to, I forget what the line was, something to that effect, but it's really good and it's really heartwarming. But we're not talking about that creative team. What creative team are we
hmm.
talking about, Josh?
I have a creative team of one on this one,
Well, I
which was
know,
pretty
right?
crazy. He when
One
you
man
look at
band.
when you look at it, it's like written, drawn, cover,
Lettered.
lettered, inked, and
Yep.
it's all by Cliff Chiang.
Yeah.
Chiang, Chiang,
Chang. You can say Chang. Chang.
Chang.
I
Okay.
I watched listened to an interview with him.
Awesome.
Um,
So he's an
what work has he
artist.
done? Yeah.
Well, he's an artist who's predominantly known really for his work with Paper Girls and the New 52 Wonder Woman and Green Arrow, Black Canary, as well as like a bunch of different covers.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's known for his, like, thick and clean line work. Think of it like a mature, I would say Batman the Animated Series or like a Darwin
Hmm.
Cook, and it's typically punctuated with very bold coloring. I love him as an artist. What do you think of him, man? What do you think of his art, Josh?
Yeah, no, I think what when you were saying he is very Cook, like you remind me a
Yeah.
lot of Darwin Cook for sure, and then also you remind me of Doc Shaner.
Oh, Doc Shaner, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
really good example. Actually,
that
that's even
was.
better than Darwin Cook, to be honest.
I think both because it was just
Yeah.
that it's that type of like you said, it was kind of like what's the
Like you
best
said,
way
it's
to
got
put it? Like
thick lines, but, like, not a lot of detail, but the detail that's
right,
there is very accentuated, if that makes sense.
almost a different Tim Sale,
Yeah, yeah.
along the lines of Tim Sale.
It's
Um,
funny you should say that. I'm sorry to
mm,
interrupt you, but,
no,
like,
yeah,
so you know how they brought back The Long Halloween, the last Halloween, it was, like, the 3rd part of the Long Halloween trilogy, and it was
mm-hmm,
unfortunately, this is after Tim Sale died, and so they had an artist come in and fill in for every issue. Cliff's was, like, I think, like, issue 4 or 6 or something like that, and it was like, "Damn, that's a really good Tim," like, he looked like he was
mm.
channeling Tim Sale, so that's a really good example of that.
I think, and then Frank quietly. I know we did a
Quietly,
whole episode quietly.
quietly. Yeah.
We did a whole episode on his stuff too, but it's kind of along that same line.
Hmm. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy him. I love his Paper Girls
Yeah,
stuff and all of that. It is interesting to note, like you just said, like, he was like a triple, quadruple threat on this book. Like you said, he did
right.
covers, he did art, he did writing, and it's actually if I did pretty some deep research on him, he had not really written anything up to this point. I think he may have done like a backup story in a black and white Batman black and white, or maybe like part of the Wonder Woman 0 issue, when they did, like, the all those 0 issues in New 52, but
Mhm.
before this is, like, he has not written at all, like, basically. It is worth noting, though, he did get his start as an editor at DC, so he definitely knew that side of the business before, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like he just
Yeah,
walked in blank, you
he
know?
knows like story crafting at
Yeah,
least.
exactly, exactly. Which kind of leads me to this discussion. I kind of want to get your opinion on this. Artists as writers, sort of the bad versus the good. Artists as writers are usually a mixed bag. For every Frank Miller or Walt Simonson or Matt Fraction or Darwin Cook or even John Byrne, you've got people like Brian Hitch or Tony Daniel or Rob Liefeld or even
Yeah.
David Finch. I mean, no offense to those are all great artists, or so well, maybe one or two of them are not. But
Mhm.
I would argue they're probably not the best when it comes to writers. What are your take, as artists, as writers? How do you feel about that?
I, I again, I think it depends
Yeah.
on really the detail of the artist. Like
Mhm.
Brian Hitch's art is so detailed and has so
Yeah.
much to do. Like I mean,
Yeah.
he's a great artist. He's one of my favorite, but also he's delayed on just drawing
Mhm.
stuff because he put so
Mhm.
much into it. So to think that
Yeah.
you can you can split both things and
Yeah.
do pretty well is pretty hard on different levels. Like just
Yeah.
the Darwin Cook's art and same with like Frank Miller and um and Cliff's like their art lends to it, it doesn't need to be as detailed, and it isn't,
Yeah.
but still
Uh,
works really well. So like I think it gives them more room to
yeah.
also write.
Uh,
Like you can compare like when Frank Miller's just drawing and when he's doing drawing and
art
writing.
or, writing duties, yeah. Well, even he
Yeah.
admitted, like, when he was doing Batman Year One, he was like, they originally the idea was he was gonna draw that too. He's like, "No, I wanna just concentrate on the script." So he definitely was, like, going full deep on that and let Mazzucchelli do his thing. It's funny though, because of all those names I mentioned, there's someone like John Byrne. That dude was not only drawing, like, 2 books at the same time, he was
Yeah.
also writing other books at the same, like, I think at Marvel, he was writing The Thing while writing and drawing the Fantastic Four and writing and drawing Alpha Flight. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
that's
it's kinda crazy.
crazy. It's kinda crazy, and they were good books. You know, think what you will about him now, like, there's no denying, like, John Byrne was there's a reason John Byrne is John Byrne. Um,
Right.
yeah, it's crazy. I have to admit, like, I feel a little I'm like, "Oh, boy," unless, like, the person has proven themselves, like, you know, like I said, the Franks and the Waltz and the Matt Fractions and all that. I'm a little leery when I see, like, a person who's been predominantly known as an artist come in as a writer. It makes me worried, and I honestly, like, kind of your question earlier, like, you know, why did I pick this book? It was one of the things that was giving me a little hesitation. I was like, "Oh, this is the first time this cat has ever written a book, and they're
Yeah.
giving him this?" Like, well, we'll see, and I will tell you right now, boy, howdy was I glad I was wrong. This book is, for me, top notch, you know what I mean? To the point where I'm like, "Dude, why aren't you doing more of this?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that he hasn't there hasn't been much more of him writing and drawing. It's I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm
it
sure.
is done well enough to
Yeah.
do other fun stuff like this one.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he did a lot of research in it. I mean, like, it took him a year to get all 4 issues done, you know, at least get all 4 issues published. Who knows? Well, I know it went on earlier. His original intention was to get this out because originally he wanted to call it Catwoman 2020 because it was gonna release in 2020, and just the delays and obviously COVID didn't help anything either.
Mhm.
But, you know, I know he spent a lot of time on this book, so obviously he put his, you know, he put everything into it to get it done. But, let's talk a little bit about that sort of real world history. Do you mind if I tackle this, Josh?
I mind completely.
You
I
do mind,
wanted
yeah,
to tackle this. No,
I figured.
please, yeah, because you always have the great insights about. The only thing I really know is just like he was reached out in like 2018, right, or something. That's
Yeah,
where it
he
all
was
started.
that's where it all started, yeah, exactly, 2018. DC had reached out to him, and they said, "Hey, we want you to write something as well as, you know, as well as do the book." And they initially asked him, was like, "What's your new frontier?" Specifically, not they like the Darwin Cook, like, "What's your new frontier?" And he was like, "Sure, I can do something like that." And they'll give me some months to think about it. But he said after a few months, he's like, "I got nothing." So when they came back to him, he was like, "I can't do New Frontier, but what I can do is I love blending genres. Like, I love, you know, taking a superhero book and then adding it to, like, in this case, a heist film or a getaway or whatever." And he was like, you know, I think it's a good way to bring new readers in who would never read a comic because, like, "Oh, it's a heist comic? That's cool." Or it's a new way to give old readers, like, something fresh and new that they haven't seen before.
It's kind of like the MCU formula a little bit. Well, like early MCU, when
Yeah,
stuff like uh, Captain
Winter Soldier.
America, Winter Soldier was a political thriller, and
Yeah,
then stuff
exactly.
like that. So it just
That
molding the
that's a
superhero to the genre.
that's a perfect analysis right there, Josh. That's
Well, I
exactly
thank
it.
you.
Yeah. So after some back and forth, he kind of pitched different ideas. Like he was like, "Oh, what about a World War II Wonder Woman book?" And then he was like, because he had just come off doing Wonder Woman with Brian Azzarello, and he's like, "Yeah, maybe not that." He thought about, well, Batman books sell really well, and then he was like, "Well, yeah, but like," and so he came back to them, and he was like, "What if we did a heist film about Selina?" And
Mm.
he's like, they're like, and he at first thought they were like, "You're gonna do a Batman book without Batman? Are you crazy?" And they're like, they really dug the idea because he was like, everyone knows everything about Batman and everyone knows who Catwoman is. But just because they know her, they don't, she's kind of a blank slate for most people. Like they know she's a cat burglar. They know she wears a cat costume, and they know that her and Batman have a thing occasionally. But other than that, her background's pretty open to kind of explore. He talked about how he loved Selena's Big Score, which is a Darwin cookbook cookbook. Oh God, Darwin Cook, yeah, did a heist, his own heist book called Selena's Big Score, which kind of led right into the sort of the Darwin Cook, Ed Brubaker stuff of 2001. And he started thinking about how it had been nearly 20, which is I'm now hurting when I hear that because that book
Mm.
feels like it was yesterday. It'd been nearly 20 years since those books had come out. And he thought, well, what would happen if those books had progressed in real time? In his head canon, and this is kind of interesting, 1987 is when Batman Year One comes out. Bruce is 25. So by the 90s happens, they're in their 35, you get in the 2000s, and by 2021, Batman would be 59 and Selina would be 55. And that's when the flashback events of this book would take place. Then she goes to prison. 10 years later, she comes out, she'd be 65. Um, and a lot of that plays into like how does age play into these characters' lives, you know? Um, for example, Killer Croc. Do you can you talk about Killer Croc for just a second for me, Josh?
No, I just like Killer Croc is kind of like an old school. Um, the way that he is just like a down and out kind of like old football player
Mhm,
who had
mhm,
retired and he'd been
mhm,
injured and just like
mhm.
I mean just hanging out trying to just hanging around his old glory days a little bit
Yep. Yeah.
and just have kind of let himself go.
Yes. Well, it's
it
like
was
well, he
he's
even
gotten
talks about it.
bigger.
It's like when you're a sports player like that, you get like you're a linebacker, you got like what 3 or 4 years in the NFL, and then you're done, and then you have these
Yeah.
lifelong injuries that just follow you for the rest. Just follow you forever.
Or it even just reminds me of like a 90s wrestler today where they
Yes.
are like super hurt, they can barely walk or get up, but but they have to go to their conventions, they have to go back to
Yep.
their old, so I kind of try to relive the
Yeah.
glory, can take the
Yeah.
pain pills
Just to
just to
just even
walk.
walk out the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of this book is kind of like looking back at the past and like looking at where you are now. And what I mean, like I love that, there's like a take on not all of the Bats Rogues Gallery, but enough of them that it's like, we get the Riddler who's now a father and sober. And I love there's like a
Yeah.
line in the book where she's like, why did you do that? He's like, I was doing a lot of coke back then.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
good.
Or even Harvey Dent, who's obviously a major character in this as well.
And
Yeah,
the
I
penguin is hasn't
oh yeah,
changed.
it has not changed at all. I
Yeah, so you
love
get
that.
characters who've changed so much and then characters who have not changed whatsoever.
They haven't learned anything. Like,
Yeah.
I love Poison Ivy in this too. I love how like she has grown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Um,
but I liked, I mean, it's funny, it seems to be, um, Harvey Dent seems to be like the scapegoat a lot
y-
for villains who supposedly have rehabbed and are going
yeah,
out against other villains, bad villains.
yeah.
He seems to be like a lot of the times the reformed, but still on the edge bad guy.
Well, it's
But
because
for
you
like
never
villain
know.
books.
Well, it's because he's got that split personality that's been
Yeah.
around forever. You know what I mean? Like, and then this is something they even kind of tee up in Dark Knight Returns. But, yeah, I agree with you on that one. It seems like he is sort of the poster child for that kind of like are they good or are they not? Did they get better or did they not? We saw it in
Right.
Hush even, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then and just like it's funny. So if he is reformed, then of course he's like the DA, and he kind of goes,
Yeah.
um, he goes more extreme, I guess. Like
Mhm.
his extreme part of his other personality moves into his justice part.
Yes. Yes. Well, on that note, let's break down the issues. There's only 4 issues in this. We're not gonna get into every single plot point or every single character, every
Mm,
single motivation, but let's kinda talk about this in general, in sort of a general context. Do you mind, kinda
y-
hitting that up, Josh?
I'll
Or
start
did you have
just
something else
to
to add? I'm
like
sorry.
no, no, no. I'll start, but just also like these are only 4 issues, but like we were saying, these are like the prestige like size,
Yeah,
so they're
they're
kind of
packed.
beefy boys. They're beefy boys. So it's
Yeah, I
definitely
think
not it's not it reads like a quick read, but it's not a quick read, if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, there's over I'm looking at the trade right now, and there's over 203 pages for 4 issues. That's
For
roughly
4 issues,
50
that's
issue or
crazy.
50 Yes, 50 pages an issue. On top of the fact that, like I said, these are instead of like what would normally be 9 panels, there's 12 panels. So there's so much
Yeah.
more in the book. Before we get into it, I do want to say one of the things I thought was really fascinating, because I said when Cliff did this book, he wrote the book first. And
Mhm.
ironically enough, he lettered the book first before he had his breakdowns, but he very specifically, normally, like, when a book is done, the artist draws it after they get the script, and then the inker not the inker, rather, the letterer comes in and finds a spot to put the word bubbles. He actually lettered the book first and then drew the action around the lettering, so that way he wouldn't, like,
Huh.
he was very intentional with his framing when he did this book.
Which is crazy too for the
Yeah,
amount of dialogue and written out words that he has on this
yeah,
book too. Like it's not there's not a lot of full page splash
no.
screens or anything like that. It's very
He's very
um
conservative with his language,
it's very
which I
Claremont.
liked. Oh, no, anti-Claremont, I thought,
And it's like
actually.
no, I mean what I mean is just like there's a lot of there's I mean it's not Bendis amount, but
I don't
it's
think it was that bad, actually. I thought it flowed
no,
pretty well.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying
Oh,
it's like it's kind of daunting to do that much and to draw that much.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I was giving him his flowers.
I see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
What's,
So
book 1?
yeah,
Go
we'll
for it.
start with the first book, and it's called Dirty Old Town. And to give the just right off the bat, 10 years have really passed uh since the whole incident. But Selina Kyle has been in jail this whole time, in prison, and she's just been released to a much different kind of Gotham City, and now it's like more of a police state. The cops are very like. Do you remember that video game Red Faction?
I do remember
Uh,
that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like Red Faction mixed with Batman, kind
Yeah.
of look. And crime is basically because it's like a police state that's crime is basically non-existent in
Papers, please. Papers.
yeah papers, and it's under the watchful eye of Mayor now Harvey Dent, not Two Face, but Harvey Dent.
Yep.
Uh, Bruce and like we said, in the blurb of the back, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, and Nightwing, Dick Grayson, are dead, and Babs, Barbara Gordon, is still alive but paralyzed and is on Gotham City Council.
Yep.
And Selena is out and she's trying to just get her bearings, get back into her
Old
or
life.
what
Not
semblance of or her life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's the villains that are still around are retired, like Killer Croc, who's just kind of like we said, he's basically just it's a lot of injuries from just being the Croc for all those years,
Mhm.
um, and others have just found other ways to just kind of weasel their way around everything. Which the
Mhm.
Penguin, which basically
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not surprising, but after visiting the grave of Batman, she realizes that she needs to fulfill a secret, like, final assignment that was given to her by Bruce Wayne on the night that he died, and finding out what Orpheus is in the Batcave and save the city.
Yeah.
But it looks like Dent had other reasons for setting Catwoman free.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Um,
the gist of the first issue.
yeah. What did I thought it was a good kickoff. I thought that Cliff, like, really painted a very clear picture of what the city was in, where everyone was at. And I don't mean that, not only, drawing wise, but actually just like giving us like, oh, this is what's
Mhm.
going on. You know, I like that, like, Selena's just like, cool, I'm gonna go ahead and just, say F it to, Mayor Dent's BS, and I'm gonna kinda get back into my old ways and find a way to, kinda get back on with my life. Um, what
Yeah,
did you think
it's
of this? Go ahead.
what I thought it was kind of funny and kind of cool how it's the opposite of what Selena Kyle is all about. like
Yeah,
this whole world that she's in now is very because she's has been more leaning on just I guess her whole thing is just freedom, doing what she wants,
yeah,
whether it be for herself or for a good cause or something.
yeah.
It's just like the freedom to do what she wants, not and not under any sort of rule or law.
She she's kind of if you were to, like, have a D&D alignment, I wouldn't say she's chaotic neutral, but I'd say chaotic. Yeah,
Just
he's chaotic
chaotic.
neutral. Yeah, chaotic neutral, I'd say she's not evil, but she's also not good. She can be good, and that's where, like, a lot of her
Yeah.
comics she finds herself tipping the scales from chaotic neutral to chaotic good. You know, I'd argue that. I think
Yeah,
that
I like the books, where she'll help Batman, but then also she'll steal the most
yeah,
valuable thing that's in the room.
yeah.
Um, and then and it's always funny when you think of future Gotham
Mhm.
that without Batman for some reason, it tends to go into this policed, militarized state. It seems like a lot, like in this
Yeah,
one, and then Future State was a whole thing
yeah.
about that. So it's just kind of funny how without Batman, they basically become like
Worse.
like yeah, or
Worse and
a
better.
worse version of Batman's dream of like the wrong idea.
Yeah, well, it's funny, it's one thing with Babs because, like, Selena goes to talk to Babs at one point and says something to the effect of, Babs is like, "What are we gonna do, dress up in costumes and start swinging from the rooftops again? Don't you realize, like, Bruce's death had more it was better for this because you find out Bruce leaves all his money to the city, and, she's like, "Bruce's money had more effect on the city and stopping crime than anything he did as Batman." And, like, Selena's like, "Yeah, but we live in a police state now." And it's like, "Well, that's the price you pay for no crime." And it's like, "I guess, sure."
Ye-
Uh,
yeah, and that's always been the debate too, like
yeah.
of people talking about Batman. It's like if he's so rich, why is he dressing up as Batman? Why doesn't he help out the city, with his money? And
Well,
so I guess that
which
kind of gives it that kind of
yeah.
extreme other reason.
Yeah, it's funny because they kind of, like, tried to get around that a couple times, like, I think, like, recently they made him, like, a millionaire as opposed to a billionaire, like, they took away all
Yeah.
his money, which I think he's gotten all back since then, and then you find out also he does contribute to, like, tons of education they're like, "Oh, no, no, he does give a lot of money to, like,
Yeah.
resources in the city, and it's not all just, like, hoarding wealth like Uncle Scrooge." Um it's interesting because it is definitely it's like, yeah, if you attack the social root, the root of these social problems, you probably a lot of this crime would go away. But then again, then you won't have a good story. And I also do think that's why they lean Batman more into kind of going up against like super villains and that ilk, as opposed to just like punching a mugger out, who's
Yeah.
just stealing a purse, but anyway. It is interesting too, like the fact that like Orpheus, obviously I don't mean to talk down to anybody, but if you don't know, Orpheus is sort of a mythological reference to, or as a mythological character in Greek mythology. Jesus Christ.
But also, it gets a little confusing too because Orpheus is a Gotham character.
No, is he? Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
I
he
missed that.
was a
My bad.
big part of uh, the war games.
Oh, well, yeah, that's your thing, dude. That's your thing.
I
I'm
know,
not
so
going to
that's
step
what I mean.
on
It
it.
was like he was a big he was kind of like a vigilante.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
just like he was kind of like head of a gang during that whole era
Oh,
too. So
okay.
I mean, I at first I was like, oh, cool, they're bringing Orpheus back, but then I just like, oh yeah, no, I
Oh
saw
no.
I saw the zebras instead of horses basically. Uh,
I'm
but
so excited.
yeah, it's
That's
like
not it.
yeah, it's like of
No.
course, no, that's
Well,
the
it's
right.
it's yeah, it's the Greek mythology character who's,
Yeah,
Orpheus goes into the underworld to bring his wife Eurydice back up, and they're like, "Cool, you can have her back, but don't look back at her. If you look back at her, like, you'll lose her." And, she goes back down to basically the underworld. And so, like, that's a big theme in this book about, like, letting go of the past and, not looking back and moving forward.
yeah.
Um,
Side
and
note, if you
and
want
and
to see,
and
oh,
resurrections too. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But just side note, if you want to see a great depiction of the Orpheus Eurydice story, check
Mhm.
out the Jim Henson's The Storyteller. They did Greek mythology, and it
No
was
kidding.
yeah, it was narrated by the guy who played Dumbledore in the
Oh,
Harry
okay.
Potter movies and stuff,
Which
and
one? Which Dumbledore?
the second one,
Okay. It wasn't
and
Richard Harris. Richard Harris was the first one, so it was Michael, I think it was like Michael Gambon?
yeah.
Okay, anyway,
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
have you heard of Storyteller? Just
I've
sidetrack for
seen
this
it.
one.
I've seen the name, but I did not know that
It's
that's what
on
that was.
HBO Max, I think now. It used to be on HBO,
Okay.
like, in the morning, but it's Jim Henson, Creature Shop, and at first, the first season was, old, Grimm fairy tales, like,
Okay.
actual the actual, uh, Cinderella, things like that, Beauty and the
Mhm,
Beast, things,
mhm, mm.
the Grimm fairy tales, and, it was narrated by John Hurt, who's
Mm.
amazing. And then the
Oh,
second season was the Greek myths, and that was
okay.
also very good. So I mean,
Well, is it
j
appropriate for kids? Because that sounds like something my kid would enjoy.
I would check it out first because it
Okay.
is like Jim Henson,
Off the chain.
like a little bit labyrinth
Dark
type
Crystal
of
style?
crazy. Yeah, Dark
Dark
Crystal like
Dark
craziness.
Crystal still messes me up, man.
Yeah, those
The sketches.
yeah. Yeah, so
Okay,
it's
we're
it's a little freaky in some of those parts. I would like definitely
okay.
watch it
Watch it
first, just
first.
like
Okay.
just to make sure won't forget. But
Yeah,
it's so good.
that's
But
cool.
yes, okay. So that's
Alright.
that's that's my recommendation. I should have kept it for the further reading, but
This is
okay.
good, man. Let's get into book 2.
Oh yeah, there's like three other books on this one. Book two. This issue is called "Collecting Strays."
I love that title, by the way. I love the play on that. So Azzarello,
Yeah,
like, it had double meaning right there, cats
right.
or bullets. Go ahead.
Yeah, and people. Um,
Yeah.
his group, the group.
Yep.
But yeah, so Selena needs to access the Batcave and really just get past Dent's Bat cops. So she puts together a crew of aging former rogues and associates. This includes Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, and Eddie Nigma, and who's Riddler's daughter,
Mhm.
and of course Edward Nigma. However, putting this team together puts like Selena directly in the crosshairs, excuse me, of Mayor Dent. And
Yes.
there's an awesome training montage,
Yeah.
with like Croc just like you're the best around. That's kind
Well,
of what what I
it's
heard when
basically
I
what
was
it
watching
is.
reading it. Yeah.
I love there's that panel where she comes like, she's like, "Who doesn't flush?" And he's just like,
Yeah, I know. Like Croc. I think Croc is my favorite, the MVP of this whole
He's so
book for me.
I love too that he's like sort of just wearing like, it's like he's wearing like a jersey, like he like a Knicks
Right.
jersey for all intents and purposes and gold chains. Like he's just like he's just living his best life. Not his best life, but he's living his life, man.
Right. And the other thing too with like Killer Croc, he's I think other I don't know any other rogue that's been depicted differently in each kind of
Yeah,
story.
iteration.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like full on crocodile. I think we kind of talked about this in
Star
Hush,
yeah, with
but
Hush, yeah.
yeah, he's either like fully animal beast like, or he's just
Mhm.
like really big dude with a skin condition. And
You know,
this one's more the beast side, which
the
or
B-side.
a little bit of middle, more in the middle,
Yeah.
but more crocodile like.
What's interesting is like I was reading I was listening to a discussion about it, and one of the things that was brought up was how, all of these other characters, they can take off their mask and they can move themselves into society and kind of forget their past. For Edward Digma or even Selena, she could if she wanted to. The difference is like she doesn't want to let go of her past. Killer Croc can't let go of his past because
Right.
he can't take that mask off. That's who he is, and he will always be that. And it's just interesting. I agree with you. Like he is like sort of the MVP of this whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. But anyway, continue.
This was all just really a training montage so they can get ready to attempt to steal Alan Scott's Green Lantern ring. And which is cool because Alan Scott's one of the OG
Yeah.
Gotham
Heroes.
dudes,
Yeah. I
which
mean, in fact, he
is
was actually created by Bill Finger, the aforementioned creator of Catwoman, or one of the co-creators rather.
right. It's awesome. So
Yeah.
Um,
Y
but
and the reason I was gonna say the
oh,
reason
so
they're gonna steal this ring is because they're gonna use it to we can sidestep all
right,
of this and just teleport right into the Batcave.
right, with the the magic ring. Um, but this kind of goes sideways, and the crew kind of rethinks their plan, and they pull off a new heist so they can get Poison Ivy to join their crew. And meanwhile, there's an election going on. Harvey is trying to get reelected as the mayor, and he is opposed by the one, the only Barbara Gordon. And they
Yeah.
are, yeah, which is great. I love the dichotomy too of them against each other. And they are in a debate, and that does not go well for Harvey, right?
Nope, she wins that one.
And we kind of find out more about Harvey's plan to really gentrify more of Gotham for like profit and
Yep.
really just kicking out the OG residents.
Yeah, I mean, I even say it's like you're buying up our land on pennies on the dollar, and once we're out, we're out. Where can we live? And the residents of this area of Gotham are none too pleased. Um, yeah, I was a little disappointed in sort of like, oh, like the Harvey. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like a lot of these like supervillains, all they care about is money. Like that's the reason they get into it. I guess it's like, oh, that's your plan. It's money. No, all right. Well, that's fine, Harvey. I guess yeah, yeah. Not stepping way too hard on that one. You know what I mean? Like I was hoping for something a little bit more climactic, but it's like no, profit, just profit. But whatever. I did like some of the Easter eggs that were kind of planted in this issue. When Selena breaks into Star Labs to steal the Alan Scott Green Lantern ring, which of course, has one charge in it, and they don't know that because the battery's broken.
Right.
I love that in the background you can see like, oh, those are some mother boxes right there, and that looks like that's probably kryptonite. And oh, there's not only is there the Wesley Dodds Sandman mask and gun, you also see the Morpheus from Neil Gaiman's Sandman mask in there in the background as well. You see
Yeah, I saw that
Prometheus.
too. That was
Yeah, that was
great.
cool. Yeah. You see Prometheus's helmet, who, if you know who Prometheus is, he was like a villain that, was able to take down the Justice League. And literally he's defeated because I think like Selena kicks him or whips him in the nuts, and that's how they defeat him. It's like,
Right.
so I don't know if that was an Easter egg or it was just, I was like, that's kind of cool. I also like that the Star Labs guards were all Rocket Reds. I was like, why are they
Yeah,
wearing
there's a lot of
Rocket Red
fun
armor?
pulls in this issue. There's a lot of full
Yeah.
um yeah, a lot of cameos or like you said, Easter eggs
Yeah.
are just pointing out. So and it's done well. Like again, we like a
Yeah.
good Easter egg that's done well and makes sense.
It's funny because initially, if I know that like part of the heist genre, it's like you have to have the heist that goes sideways or go wrong. But I was like, all that work for nothing. Oh, that's great. Literally nothing
Right.
good came out of them. Attempting to get that GL ring. It's like literally they are at square one after they get the ring, and it's like, okay, well, we got to figure out a new thing. All right, well, let's go get poison. I mean, I kind of like though that they're like, well, you're right. Magic does exist in this world. Why wouldn't they get a magic ring to just get them to, circumvent, all of these problems? But overall, I really like I enjoyed the issue. But
Yeah, I love the teamwork and the ramping up and just them trying to find the solutions different ways than you normally would think they would try to
uh,
find the resolution. Um, like you don't think of a Green Lantern ring in a
no,
heist
in a
movie later on
yeah,
for about
yeah,
Batman villains.
absolutely. Like that was like I was like, oh, that's a curveball. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And not only is it a Green Lantern ring, it's Alan Scott's Green Lantern ring as opposed to like a traditional,
Right.
in Green Lantern Corps. Um, I guess that leads us into book three, though.
Yeah, book 3 is named Blood and Thunder, and more prep for the Batcave heist continues, and of course, like, this goes horribly, horribly wrong because if it went well, then this would be the last issue, but, as tragedy hits the crew, Selena is really forced to improvise the plan and make a deal with the devil, in this case, our everybody's favorite rhyming demon who's not really rhyming at this time,
No,
but,
yeah.
um
Let's break it down.
right, you're right, it was Etrigan,
Yes.
and after a flashback to prison, the crew steals some of Clayface's protoplasm, but, during their escape, the Bat Cops are actually waiting for them, and as they flee, sadly, Killer Croc is gunned down, and, Selena's forced to put him out of his misery, and,
That
That was
messed
crazy.
me up. That messed me up. I
Yeah.
was like, because it kind of like it was like, oh, you've built up him up over the last two issues. He is such a fun character, and then you just to kill him off, like not even
It
in the
was very
regular
Whedon.
heist. Yeah,
It was very
yeah.
Whedon-like.
Wait, what? I was like, oh, he's gonna get captured, and or nope, they just straight up. He's like, you got to put me down, Selena, and you just see her pull out the gun. I'm like, whoa, they're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Um,
was that was very crazy, but it's very powerful and,
yeah,
um, just emotionally grabbing on a 3rd issue, you know what I
yeah,
mean, too? Like, that's pretty crazy that it's impactful that much on issue number 3.
yeah. Well, like you said, he was sort of the MVP up to that point. He was probably the
Yeah.
most relatable character up to that point, or at least maybe not relatable, but I don't want to even say enjoyable. He was definitely the comedic relief, and to kill off your comedic
Yeah.
relief like that is like it was kind of shocking. Um, but of course, now with him dead, what does that mean?
Right, I mean, so the Riddler actually comes up with a replacement in the form of, like we kind of alluded to before, Jason Blood, aka the demon Etrigan.
Mm.
Was it gone the form of
Oh
man?
man,
Here shall rise the demon Etrigan, or something like
yeah,
that. That's like
it's
very
yeah, it's sort of like the brightest day and blackest night.
right, exactly, yeah. But also in this issue, Eddie and Selena have a little tryst, a hookup, if you will. So, which for me,
Nice.
that comes out of left field. Like, you'd
Yeah,
think the Riddler
I
and
was
Catwoman
shocked when
would
that
get together.
happened.
Well, this
I
is
was
a
shocked by
much different Riddler. Like, he's just a
yes,
more charming, suave
yes.
Riddler than nerdy, um, annoying kind of Riddler that we usually get.
Well, as we said, he was doing a lot of coke back then.
He was doing a lot of cocaine. Like, well, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a
Um,
hell of a drug.
And so after they convince Jason Blood to join them, they how they do that is just giving him Doctor Fate's helmet, which
Which
that's like
another
a
heist.
nuclear bomb, basically.
Yes, yes.
Um, they
"Hey, we
have
need you to
another
break
run.
into this
Oh, sorry.
cave, but here's a nuclear missile for you to do it."
Exactly. Here's the magic equivalent of a doomsday device. They have another run in with the Bat Cops, and Selena decides to cut Eddie and his daughter loose as there's too much risk.
Or
I mean,
or
or it may be a mole, isn't it?
maybe, I
Because
mean,
like, why do they keep running into Bat Cops?
yeah. Well, they were
Um,
definitely there in the cave when they're making the escape with Clayface stuff, like, they were waiting for him.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It could have been a coincidence when they ran outside of Jason Blood's house, because like, in the context of the story, they walk out of Blood's house and they run into a bunch of bad cops there, but, like, the mayor is literally giving a speech a block away, so it would make sense that there'd be patrols of cops in that area. But, yeah, it's a little too coincidental for,
Right.
Selena, I believe.
Once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern.
Yes, exactly. Um, what do they
But
end up doing with the, protoplasm,
yeah,
that sort of Clayface protoplasm?
they create a mask of the commissioner and then order all the Bat Cops away from Wayne Manor and
Mm,
Batcave. And of course, one of the cops has Spidey sense or something. There's always one, and he
yeah.
isn't buying it, and he calls it in. And the crew finds a way into the Batcave, and Jason Blood releases Etrigan, and who seems not really too pleased to be there.
Well, and I
Uh,
like kinda going back to what you're saying about the cop. I like what he does is he's suspicious, but he doesn't do anything. But then he uses, like, his, the bat vision that all the cops have to scan for their, like, "Papers, please," everyone has, like, this geotag or whatever, and he doesn't
uh,
see any of their IDs pop up on his little vision, and that's when he's like, "Yeah, this is bullshit, I'm calling it in." Like, he recognizes pretty quick, like, that's not because it would have been the commissioner's geotag would have popped up and said, "Oh, Commissioner so and so is here." You know what I mean? Like, and when he
right.
sees that nothing pops up, and I thought it was a nice little, just like, and he doesn't even, they don't even, they just, it's just a panel of it. And he's like, yep, we're calling it in. I guess, come on, man. We got tickets to the game. Well,
Yeah.
one cop's doing his job, I guess.
I know. Like, damn cops. Um, but yeah, I mean, so overall, I thought this was another great. This is just keeps upping the ante and
Yeah.
bringing in characters that you don't expect. I get more in the magic
Mhm.
side again. This one was very
Yeah.
magic based, I guess,
Yeah.
really with Etrigan and the you know um, well, actually, mainly Etrigan and then the Fate, helmet and stuff,
Yeah.
so it's just
Well, and as I say, in the next issue, we'll talk about it when we get there a little bit, but they bring in Clarion the Witch Boy, which in
right.
this point is Clarion the Witch Man, but which is interesting. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "That came out of left field." Because again, this is for up to this point, this book has been grounded in, like, street level heroes and street level dynamics and politics, you know what I mean? You got characters that are all, like, can be beaten up by a guy in a bat suit, not people who are, like, whipping out magic wands. So to see people with, like, magical abilities that can warp things and dimensionally shift and all that, it's like, oh, it kind of it upsets your expectations, I guess, for lack of a better word.
But you know what's funny too? It kinda makes sense Batman-wise too, a little bit.
Mhm.
Like, Batman does have that escalation with, Jason Blood and I guess
Yeah.
Clarion specifically too. Like, I guess my one of my first introductions to both of them was through the
Uh-huh.
animated series.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
just that back and forth too. So that's why kinda like
You were fine with it?
I yeah, that and just I kind of like I wasn't surprised to see Clarion because I saw Etrigan.
Mhm. Well, it's
Um,
funny too.
like
Well,
one begets
oh,
the
go ahead.
other.
Yeah, there's one other person we run into, or not run into, but gets mentioned, which they specifically have a very strong past with Batman. But that's
Yes,
one.
which will I
That's
mean, I
yeah.
think let's just get to book
Let's
4
just
so
get
we
to it.
can
Yeah, yeah. Talk about
we keep teasing it, but
it.
so this one is called this is the last issue and this is called The Underworld. And all the plot points converge as the team finally makes it into the Batcave to find out exactly what Orpheus is. But of course, Mayor Dent and his Bat cops aren't too far behind. And we also finally get the final flashbacks to Fool's Night and events that led to the end of the Bat family. We see some of the traps and tricks that Batman has set up for to keep people out.
Yeah, I love that, like, kinda this is what we were talking about. There's, like, they literally get to this tunnel, like, "Oh my god," and every time they start walking down the tunnel, it gets longer and longer. It's like that
Hmm.
that infinite staircase in Mario 64 that you can't go up until you have, like, all 60 stars or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and it's like it's that thing, and, like, they're trying to figure out, like, how do we and, like, Etrigan starts running, like, "No, it's getting longer." Like, "Why
Hmm.
would he do this?" It's like, "Well, Superman got in." Once. And so
Once, yeah,
because of that, like, Batman had magical spells put on the Batcave.
yeah. It's definitely it's what's funny. It's kind of like it's how Batman just learns. It's also kind of just reminds me of just Tony Stark in the MCU. Not to keep going back to the MCU, but
Yeah,
if you kind of analyze all the Iron Man movies and stuff, a lot of his armors are learnings from the previous movie um problem.
interesting.
Like really easy, just case in point, like one Civil War,
Mhm,
when Rhodey falls and
mhm,
Tony's not fast enough to help him.
mhm.
In Infinity War, he had like these super
Oh
boosters
oh,
to
that's
help
right, the rocket
Spider-Man
boosters.
falling. So
Yeah.
it's things like little things like that.
Interesting. Wow, that's nice.
Um,
That's I actually did not notice that. That's really kinda cool. That's really cool.
yeah, it's just the how Tony's when he's upgrading his armors, he's constantly learning and just having different reasons or just different different upgrades but just with
Nice.
that like yeah Batman of course is the ultimate strategist so of course like
Yes.
if you beat him once he's gonna
No way
find
to
three
never have
other
to do
ways
that
so that
again.
never happens again. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Backup plans within backup plans.
right.
Uh, but anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so with that like in a flashback we see uh Bruce is dying and he's added Selena's biometrics DNA to a key so she could gain access to the Batcave.
Yeah.
And I guess with some like demon magic and some patented, like Catwoman acrobatics, Selena gets the cave door open and they find all of Bruce's memories.
Yes, like
And
the Robin suit and,
right,
Mr.
all
Freeze's gun and penguin
his
umbrellas.
the bat
Yeah,
Mythonian,
nice, nice, nice. Well, and
Bathionium.
yeah,
That's
what
not
would it be?
word.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. I was gonna say, one of the things that one of the way they were able to get past that sort of infinite, hallway is they basically say "Open Sesame" backwards because in the
Yes.
DC universe, magic is said backwards. So it'd be N Nepo was it Nepo?
I'm not even
I
gonna
don't
try.
yeah, I'm not even trying. But anyway, when he does that, when they say it backwards, it triggers Zatanna, who most basically implies she put the spell on there for Batman.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, what? Are you okay?" She's like, "No, it must have been that extra martini I had at dinner. Like, I'm fine," because she's in Vegas performing as she does.
Right.
But Zatanna and Bats or Bruce Wayne have it's implied that they had a relationship before he officially became Batman. Like, he learned under her, right? And, like, they had a
Well,
relationship, I thought.
he learned under her father,
Father that's right.
Zatara, because
Yeah.
like for like for more really for escape of doing escape
Mhm,
artist
mhm,
stuff,
mhm,
and that's where he developed the bond and the relationship with Zatanna.
mhm. I just like that, like, a little linked back to her, like, it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah," so of course she would have helped him out and put a magic spell on his infinite
Right.
tunnel, you know?
Right. I think anytime something's said backwards, that's instantly a reference to Zatanna in any way. So I think
Yeah,
for
that's
like DC
cool.
fans, it's like a even if they didn't show her, you would know instantly, like, oh, she's the
Yeah.
one that did that.
Yeah, she had to have been. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um,
So we
well, they get
eventually
in there.
find out. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
I was gonna
eventually
say
find
they
out
get in
that
there,
Orpheus is basically like Ra's al Ghul's resurrection pit mixed with Bane venom,
which is crazy.
which is crazy, and also like how we never thought of that before. How is this the first time that's been really thought of?
So, not only are you coming back to life, you're coming back to life ripped.
Ripped and like quadruple crazy.
Yeah,
It's like crazy upon a crazy.
yeah. Which
And
but does it cancel it's like a double negative, so it cancels it out? Is that what the idea is?
I think it's like you get 4 times crazy. Um,
Oh, maybe. I mean, to be fair,
yeah,
so you do find out that, like, Alfred dies or is dying, and they put him in, like, "Well, we're gonna test it out on you, Alfred." And he comes back, I'm like, "I'm
right,
good. I'm strong. Let me lift up this plate of food." And like, "Oh, great." And then a week later, he's like, "I'm dying. It was a
yeah,
good run."
right. Like, yeah, he kind of burns out like the
Yeah, it
whole
burns you out. Yeah.
yeah, and it's only lasts like a week.
Weak. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this hits Selena hard as she realizes that Bruce just wanted to be brought back so he could fight his war for one more week. And it was never about like being with her. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, but also not surprising. It's always been about the mission. It's always the mission.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the
Um,
city, man. That's his
yeah.
true love, you know?
And uh, Dent also makes his move on the Batcave and everything goes to like hell. Like he
He brought a
reveals that it
damn
was,
tank in there.
I know, right? It was crazy, like a like Sherman tank. Um, He reveals that Killer Croc's the one that revealed how he like knew some of their plans.
Yeah,
And
I think the implication there is that Croc was just drinking at a bar and just was running his mouth, I don't think he was,
right.
like, a mole, it was just more like Killer Croc being Killer Croc, you know what I mean? Not the
Ye
smartest guy on the planet.
yeah, and Dent was at that same bar in the first issue too. Like so
Yeah.
it's something he's like frequented uh
Mhm.
more and more. And so I'm going back to that bar too. Like I like how
Yeah.
the bartender or the owner is the Red Tornado, like the
Oh
original Red Tornado.
is that who that was? Oh, that's great, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that. That's great.
Like and she I mean if she's old and like I remember seeing her in she used to like run the JSA
Oh,
library during Jeff Johns's run. She's
wow.
old then, but so she's like old in this one. Like I don't even know how old she would be, but she was still like being her own bouncer too, which is great.
Well,
Um,
she has some big Barda energy, you know what I mean? Like a
she
retired big
did,
Barda that's like, you know what I mean?
yeah. It was like Big Barda that looks like Granny Goodness.
Yeah. She's taking that Aunt May, elixir where, like, Aunt May is older, like, in her
Right,
first appearance than she is, like, in current issues,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, "She's so frail, she could die of a heart attack, she finds out I'm Spider-Man,"
right,
in the current issue, she's running around, running a whole, like, a soup kitchen and, jogging I was like, it's so funny how, like,
yeah.
they've de-aged her.
Yeah, or
Anyway.
even like even when she's older and she knew about Spider-Man as well, like she is there's issues where she's one of the issues where she poisons the chameleon.
That's
Was
right.
like during like a new Avengers book, or I think it was or Spider-Man, or like when
Yeah,
Spider-Man was on the Avengers.
yeah.
Um, but Yeah, so I mean, she's about that life. But so just a kind of like a long story short about the end, Pam sacrifices herself to stop Dent from taking the cave, and Selena blows the remains all to hell, like Orpheus Pit and the back computer, which is also really what Dent was going
That's
for
all he
because
wants.
it's really all the info and AI information and things like that to help him run the
Yeah,
city,
because
and
they're
what like his whole back computer or
yeah,
his like
the
his
bat
police
satellites
state.
and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's part of the profiling software, which is basically,
right,
code for racist software, you know what I mean?
right. And she's really like Selena's really ready to go down with the cave, but she is saved by the Riddler and his daughter, which um like he figured out the riddle of Batman's clock, which was
Yeah.
kind of a
The
nice little
I thought it was a
add-in.
nice little not Easter egg, but I thought it was nice. It's like, yeah, I figured it out. Once I knew it was Bruce Wayne's parents, I figured, oh, that was or it was Bruce Wayne. Like it was the clock was
Right.
the moment they died. It's like I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm good with that.
Because this is also like when he was out, basically. He came in as like the saving grace.
Yeah.
That um but with the destruction of the back computer, Dent's citywide surveillance is now like down. So he's about to kill her, but she offers him a choice as
Oh
her
no.
biometrics can give him like access to the bat system, but only if she lives, or he can have revenge. And flipping a coin that leads to Two Face reemerging, and while like he struggles, Selena and Riddler's daughter eventually take him out. So
Do you ever want to give
always that
Two Face
damn
a
coin.
choice?
It's always that damn coin.
That damn coin.
And, and at the end, uh, Barbara Babs, she wins the election and asks Selena to help root out the corruption in the city and kind of make a little money on the side, so no some on the side.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And like at first she's like nah, and then she's like oh, okay, that sounds good
Yeah,
actually. And
it is a kind of a beautiful city, actually. Maybe
yeah,
we should do something about this.
and then she starts
Um,
to like train Eddie's
yeah,
daughter, right, or
yeah,
Eddie.
she's training Eddie's daughter up to that point, and, like, she's like, "Wait, we're gonna rob Cobblepot?" She's like, "Yep," because, like, early in the book, she
Yeah,
goes to the Penguin, she's like, "Hey, you have all my money from when I was in prison, can I have it back?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not giving that
yeah,
back to you,
nah,
but he's like, "Hey, if you're willing to put on the costume and join me in my bedroom, maybe we can talk," and she just slaps him, and he's like,
right,
you can take the ferry home." It's
right,
like
because he's like in Gotham Harbor, kind of
yeah, yeah, so
like this whole international water type of
yeah,
loophole that he's
international law,
doing.
exactly, exactly, bird law. No,
The bird
yeah,
law.
I like that he has not changed at all. He is still
Mhm.
just the conniving little turd that we've all and I like that she's like, "Yep," and it's well, "Yep, she's gonna get her revenge on him," you know?
Right.
Um,
It's a good kind of it's a good end. I like the end because it's
it's
the end
hopeful.
of the story, but it's not end of that world.
Yeah, and it's hopeful that things are gonna get better. I like
Right.
Babs is like, "We would have liked to have won legitimately, not," but, she's like like, "We would have
Take it
won,"
where you
and,
can
like
get it.
yeah, I was like, she's like, "We would have won, though," and, like, Slim's like, "Sure you would have."
Yeah.
"Right." It's like, he's in jail. Take your wins where you can,
Right.
Um, what did you think? Like I said, I read this roughly when it came out, and I've read it a couple times since then. What did you think of this book, though, when you read it for the first time?
I
Were you
was actually
shocked? Were you surprised?
surprised how much I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really fun, heist book, and I do like these books that have the alternate, future and alternate versions of the characters and things like that to see where they're at later on in life and just how they're coping with
Yeah.
everything. And I think there's a lot of different books that I like that do it well, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
I liked Selena as a character in this one a lot too. Like, um, you would think after some of her books that she can't really carry a book, but this one she totally does.
Uh,
And
I
it's some books she can't, like, or they don't give her a chance to. And I think this one
yeah.
fully puts her front and center, and she does.
Yeah, I like that again, this is a Batman book in the shadow of Batman, but without Batman, and kinda going back
Yeah.
to our Gotham Central talk from, like, one of our first episodes. Um which is actually one of the books I kind of was trying to pitch for that, but, he's in the book. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I love this book. Like, I think it's from an art standpoint, like, I think the art is dynamic, it's fun, it's well drawn. I think the story complements it so well. I think there's good moments of humor, I think there's good twists. To your point, like, I love a good heist story, and I like that, it's not just a slam dunk, like, it's like there's certain, like, heist things where it's like they slam dunk every single thing, and then it's just like, "Okay, well, that was ooh, I was really on the edge of my seat." Like this one's like, oh, there's a potential this could all fall apart. I like that everyone contributes, and we didn't. There's a lot of characters we didn't even talk about, but everyone contributes. Like it's like, hey, what if we do this, and that changes the sort of trajectory of the story. You know, yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I wish Cliff would do more like this, even if it is just a 4-issue mini. Like, I would like to see more, like, takes on, like, this. Like, yeah, do a Wonder Woman World War II story, or, I would love to see him do something like in the MCU, or not the MCU, rather, the Marvel Universe, rather, because he seems pretty ingrained in the DC stuff. Most of his stuff is DC related, you know?
Yeah, I would love to see him continue the story a little bit and it go with Riddler's daughter. Do
Yeah.
a story with that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Her trying to be a vigilante in this new Gotham, and then
You make almost
and
Catwoman like the mentor Oracle character, almost
yeah,
weird. Yeah.
or or have her be the mystery. She's
Mhm.
gone. What happened to her?
Yeah,
And
that's a good
then
point
she's
too.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That could work. Well, there's again, there's so much untapped potential with like a 10-year-old Gotham City from, like, characters like Black Canary, and like Wildcat makes a brief appearance in this. And I love that, like, Killer
Yeah,
Croc's like, "Oh my god, are you Wildcat?" Like he starts geeking out,
yeah. I
you
mean,
know.
like, I don't know, and if I missed this, I apologize. But like, what what about Harley?
Yeah, well, they mentioned I think she got killed in Fool's Night. I think they mentioned that she gets
Okay,
killed in Fool's Night, but, that's the just because she said she's been killed doesn't mean she is, unless you see the dead
right.
body, you know what I mean? But that leaves, again, like, potential for there's so many other villains from Scarecrow or Zaz or, Hugo Strange or Hush or Bane, or there's because like, Catwoman has a pretty rocky history with Bane. In the Catwoman book, she's forced to work for him and, like, steal stuff for him, so there's definitely a lot. Hell, if you wanted to, you bring back Jean-Paul Valley as Azrael, because again,
Hmm.
Catwoman does not like Azrael at all. Like, she's the first one to clock. She's like, "That's not Batman. That is not Batman."
Yeah,
She's like, "I know who Batman is, and that's not him." And it's not until, like, Bruce as Batman, like, saves some criminals that he had been trying to bust, that she's like, "Oh, he's back. Batman's back. The real Batman is
right.
back." You know? So there's, like, a lot you could explore and I think, have fun with. I mean, if you wanna get crazy, there's the fact that in, like, the old when I say the old continuity, I mean, like, the post-crisis continuity, Selina straight up has a kid, and is like a mother, and it's like, and puts the kid up for adoption. It's like you could have that daughter come back, like,
Yeah,
pissed off, like, that I got abandoned, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot they could explore.
yeah. I'd just love to see a continuation in this world
Mm,
specifically.
mhm.
Um,
Well, it's funny
but
because
yeah,
this is gonna be one of my recommendations for, like, further reading or similar reading, but it would be along the lines of The Last Ronin from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, shameless plug, we did that episode. But
yeah,
it has that same thing where it's like, you have this, the next generation being mentored by the
the
by, in
gap.
this case,
Yeah,
Selena. Yeah, in that case, it was April O'Neil, but you know what I mean? That would be cool. I would like to see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, what other like what's a really obscure rogue that they could do? Like the Rat
Oh,
King
you could do Condiment Man, you could
or
do
Condiment Man.
Yeah, Condiment King, you could do Kite Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, there's even, like, you could do King Tut, you could do Mad Hatter, you do Professor Pig.
or even bring in Terry McGinnis.
Oh, that'd be sick. Well, they don't say what happens to Tim in this, I
Right,
do like that.
exactly.
I do like that image of Tim. He's like, "You get a handcuffs, and you get a handcuffs, and I'm out of handcuffs, and you get zip ties." I don't
Right,
know
right.
why. It's just the enthusiasm. They're like, "Oh yeah," he's like, and he's talking to Selena about Tim right there. Just like, yeah, he wasn't an orphan. He's different than the rest of us, which is
Or
also
is this a world where Damien is alive too. Like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot he could explore, you know? That's a good point. It's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, overall, dude, I think this was a fun book. I again, you know, I can't recommend it enough because I think it's accessible to people who have read Batman comics and they'll get all the fun little Easter eggs that we mentioned, or it's just people who like a good heist movie. This is that it kind of scratches that itch as well. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's a fun
I think,
book. Like overall, it's
yeah.
just a fun book, and I mean, we like fun books.
Well, and as we said before, I mean, we're not gonna take a book just so we can shit on it. Like, if I want that, it's like if there's enough bad stuff out there. Like, let's focus on the good. You know what I mean? I think, like, you
Mhm.
know, I mentioned in the last episode, like the Kevin Smith thing, and I kind of agree with that. Like, yeah, it's fun to rip on things every once in a while, but like, I'd rather focus on something fun and entertaining. That's like, man, you leave walking out like that was good. That was good. I feel better about humanity. You know?
Yeah,
For those who did enjoy this book, is there anything you would recommend to them besides obviously Jim Henson's storytellers,
right.
that they should also read or watch?
If you liked a Catwoman kind of led book, I mean, like we've mentioned, definitely check out the Brubaker Darwin Cook
Yeah.
books. The Catwoman When in Rome is also a fun one
Oh, okay.
to
I've
do.
never read that. I've read too many negative things about it to actually jump on it. Is it worth it?
It's yeah, it's worth just checking out if you're
Okay.
a Catwoman fan. And they also made like an animated movie from it too. So
Okay. Cool. Cool.
um there's also, I mean, Brubaker's run too during like the whole, I'm just again another War Games plug, but during the whole War Games era where she had her own section, it was like the East Bay or something like that of
Yeah.
Gotham, and she was kind of
Mhm.
like the head of, she was in charge of that
Yeah.
area, like that was her
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Is a fun kind of book as well, and like a lot of the other like future stuff too, right? Like what's another
Dark
one?
Knight.
Other
Dark Knight
Dark
Returns.
Knight, yeah.
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom
We
Come is a
mentioned
classic one. Yeah.
last run, and we just kind of mentioned. One that I think it was a book that was your favorite was Daredevil: Cold Day in Hell, where it's like a
Yeah.
retired Matt Murdock comes back.
Yeah, it's the again that um future just timeline done well.
Yeah. The art's sick in that. It's a good, good story.
Mhm.
If you're looking for more of Cliff Chang's stuff, I recommend both his Wonder Woman run with Azzarello, which is kind of polarizing. Either people really like it or they don't. So just realize it is a polarizing run. Some people didn't like Azzarello's take on Wonder Woman, and I understand that. Like I get that. But if that's not your cup of tea, definitely check out Paper Girls. It was written
Mhm.
by Brian K. Vaughan. It's very Stranger Things meets time travel, for lack of a better description. It's literally set in the 80s, and it's these kids dealing with, you know, these paper girls, not paper boys, but paper girls, as they kind of, you know, mature
Yeah,
and deal with all that.
they made that into a TV series too.
Yeah, it only lasted like 1 season, right? It
Yeah,
kind of,
but some it was still
yeah.
fun to check
I
out.
didn't was it good? I didn't get a chance to watch it, but yeah.
It was good enough.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, is there anything else you wanna tee up, or should we talk about what our weekly recommendations are?
I know. I think also, I mean, just if you like Catwoman stuff specifically too, just check
Mhm,
out like the animated series stuff
mhm.
episodes
Yeah,
because she's always they've like Selina Kyle is always good
yeah.
in those too. So I mean, definitely check that out.
Nice, nice. What are you reading this week, Josh? Or watching? Or
Yeah,
what is
what
your
my pick, my insight pick though
yeah,
is for this week is I'm really digging X-Men 97 season 2.
I've heard it's
Um
phenomenal.
It's been it's been really good. They're doing a lot of the Apocalypse stuff, which is one of my favorite kind of X-Men bad guys, and
Uh-huh.
it involves time travel. They have X-Force and brought
Oh,
in X Factor.
oh,
Um,
now you're
but
talking my jam.
well, they and then they have really cool like Easter eggs in there too. So like um, there's a part where there's a bunch of mutants in prison and they're trying to like do a prison break, and there's one little girl mutant that it's kind of you see her a bunch, and it's kind of like one that one of the characters trying to, and it's the same little girl that's in Marvels. It's that same
Oh, no.
mutant
Oh,
Marvels.
yeah, I know
So
who you're talking about. Oh, not Annie, what's
yeah,
her name? Oh god, yeah. Oh, that was one of, like, you know, I was writing up, like, a list of, like, you know, comics that'll make you cry, and she's in there. Like, that is such a
Yeah. Well,
heartbreaking story. Oh,
another shameless plug. We covered Marvels, and
oh, we did. Yeah.
but that was like a cool like I did the Leo meme like hey
Oh, yeah, yeah, the pointing.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And what I saw is like I have to talk to Brian about this in the next episode because
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a cool little
Easter egg right there.
Easter egg for big fans too. It's
Yeah.
not overt, and
Yeah.
it's during a cool episode too where it's it's X Force fighting X Factor.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Gene Aversa, one of our regulars on our show, he reached out to
Mhm.
me. He's like, "Dude, have you seen this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." I'm trying to get my kid to watch all of the earlier X-Men stuff so we can get to
I was
that,
about to
and
say
so yeah,
if
it's so
he's
it's
liking the Superman and Justice League stuff,
yeah.
you'll love the X-Men ones.
He loves the unlimited stuff, I'll tell you what. But, yeah, so I told Gianna as soon as I could, I would and let him know I'm up, but it might be a year before I actually get back to him about this episode, but
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
there.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta do
yeah,
the X-Men animated series, you have to do the Spider-Man animated series,
yeah.
and
I
then
tried doing this,
all the
yeah,
other ones too.
yeah. Oh, that's funny. Alright, well, I'll jump on
What
that as soon as I he's doing BattleBots right now, so that's what I'm doing with.
Oh, of course! Oh, goodness. He's all
It's
over
been
the place,
he is all
which
over
is
the place.
awesome.
Yes, it is. It's just frustrating, because I'm like, "Let's focus on 2 Tower." Now you watch some of the 2 Towers, then he wants to I was like, "Alright, dude, whatever, I don't care."
2
Uh,
Towers? 2?
yeah,
Jeez.
we're doing the 2 Towers extended edition. We're watching all of the Lord of the Rings in, like, half-hour chunks, you know,
Oh, wow. So, yeah, you're gonna be done with that in, like,
next year.
2045.
Yeah, next year.
Um, what are you
Um,
reading?
when I have time to read, because 'cause I've been doing daddy daycare for the last, couple weeks until, 3 more weeks. I love my son. I absolutely love him. I love spending time with him. School can't get here soon enough. And I only mean that because I have to watch him and his little sister, and it is a juggle with a 7 and a 1-year-old. I'm like, "Okay, now we're reading little baby books. Now I'm over here playing
I
Nintendo, back over here. Don't eat
I
that
love
fish," you know?
don't need that fish. I love how you said him and his little sister, like, it's not your daughter.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
him and my
And
daughter.
my daughter,
Like,
my son and my daughter.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I and I absolutely do, like, I absolutely do, but the Mr. Mom Daddy Daycare, it is not a lie, but I love them, absolutely, and eventually, they'll both be old enough where daddy can sit down and read his stuff without, having anyway, the books I'm enjoying right
Yeah.
now are Superman and The Flash over at DC Comics. The Superman book, like straight Superman, not action. I mean, I like action comics. I like, all the Superman titles, but the one I really like is the Superman book, which is focusing on Superman Prime, aka Superboy Kal-El, and he's breaking the fourth wall all the time, and I really enjoy that. A lot of inside jokes there, and I also like the Flash. The most recent Flash issue is literally like a choose your own adventure.
Hmm.
Is he kind of breaks time, and so you see him go through different panels. Like, no, you can pick which panel he goes to, and like, okay, it leads to this. Oh, got to reset the panel and go back to the beginning. So it's a lot of fun. And then I'm also
That's
enjoying
awesome.
a yeah. There's an IDW book called Seven Wives. IDW's been like really dipping their toes into crime comics, which I really enjoy. And in this case, it's like, what if a polygamist gets killed in front of everybody and all of his 7 wives are suspects? Like, so it's like, who did
Oh
it?
my
And so
god.
it's great. It's
That
fun.
sounds like a TLC documentary,
Oh, it's it's
like a
great,
true
man.
crime TLC show.
It's that's what I'm saying. That's what I enjoyed. I'm like, this is great. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been reading a lot of other stuff, but like I said, it's I wouldn't recommend. I wrote to the zoo to send me a pet. It's not really something more probably our fans want to
Hmm.
hear about. Yeah. Anyway, and on that note,
Yeah, on that note, I think that is it for us about Catwoman, Lonely City. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you enjoy the book too when and if you've read it. And again, please subscribe to us on all the different podcast platforms that we are on: Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and
Apple,
Apple.
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and hit us up on Instagram and Blue Sky again. It's we got issues cast, and the BComp on Blue Sky,
Become
and then Speedo Jedi on Instagram, which
Yep.
Brian has restarted, but it's never on.
No, no.
And and also, if you like the episode on the different platforms, give us those 5-star ratings and recommend it to your friends. The more word of mouth we get, the better, and more suggestions we
Well,
get. So please,
let's say the better my ego is. No,
yeah, that's all. That's the only reason why
that's
we
all.
do the
That's the whole
shows,
reason we're
to
here. Yeah, it's
fill
for
the
our ego, to feed our egos.
yeah, just to be like, hey, I have a comic book podcast because that is cool. Uh,
There are dozens of people who enjoy
yeah,
hearing.
dozens. So, but if you have something again you want to chat about, let us know. Either if you see us in the streets or
Yeah, which
actually
has
see
happened.
Brian in the streets, because everybody knows what you look like. Nobody knows what I look like. Um, and or on the socials. And so for next episode, though, in the timeline of how we do things, most likely we're going to be talking about Spider-Man: Brand New Day, because that comes out in the next
The
couple weeks.
movie, the
The
movie.
movie specifically, um, because again, we're doing stuff that we like. But after that, we're gonna go back to the books, and we're actually having old Nerdist producer,
Well,
and
alum of
actually
mine.
alum of yours.
Yes. Well, he's a nurse
um,
alum.
yeah, he's a Nerdist alum, and also, a Mark with Family alum, who's
Oh,
my
right. Yep.
brother Nate. Nate is going to be on. He's an OG producer, really, of We Got Issues when we were
Yeah, he
on.
was. He was the original producer of it.
Yeah, on Alpha. Uh, he was the one helping us out behind the scenes and making sure that we actually looked like we knew what we were doing. So,
Nah.
no, again, he has learned at the altar of his big brother Josh, and so he's definitely going to be a great guest. And we're going to be talking about a book that he wanted to chat about, in which this is one of his favorite books, and I'm so happy he like when I asked him like, hey, we're thinking about having it on. What book would you like to? And before I even said a book you would like to do, he said Planet Hulk.
Well, there we
So
go. That sounds like
we're gonna
me.
be yeah, exactly. We're gonna be covering, like, he had it in the chamber. He was ready to go. So
He fired that out.
we're gonna be covering Planet Hulk with
Great.
Nate, and it's gonna be a fun. I already know it's gonna be a fun discussion. So
It will be. It's gonna be ripping on each other the whole time.
oh yeah, I have stories, he has stories,
I
and you
have
have
stories.
stories. So it's again because Nate was down here living with me for a few years too. So it's gonna
And he
be
was working on my staff for a very long time as well.
right. So yeah, it's gonna be a great episode. So please um make sure to keep an eye out for the next couple episodes, and also just kind of backtrack if you didn't have a chance to go listen to our Supergirl episode that we covered the
Yeah,
movie, because that was a fun discussion about the
yeah,
character in the movie and how it's not as bad as everybody's thinking it is. So yeah,
yep.
all right. So thank you again for everybody listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.